This is Sujata Martin from Concierge Pelvic Floor, located in Buffalo, New York. You can find me at pelvicfloorbuffalo.com. So today I wanted to answer a question I've been getting so often, and I love that I'm getting this question. I get this question all the time now. I love what you do on social media with spreading awareness in pelvic health. How do I get started in pelvic floor therapy as an OT? And I so love this question because number one, for women and men everywhere with pelvic floor dysfunction, this means there are so many more clinicians who are interested in entering this wonderful treatment area. So yay for everyone with pelvic floor dysfunction. And number two, I am so happy for occupational therapists everywhere because we are finally discovering and stepping into our role as pelvic floor clinicians. This is a treatment area that is so perfect for us. Talk about toileting, talk about intimacy, talk about pain management and its effect on all the occupations that an individual engages in. OTs can be such wonderful clinicians in this niche treatment area, and I'm so glad so many of you are reaching out to me to ask me how to get started. So first of all, thank you for being here. I'm glad you are here and I'm glad you're interested in being a pelvic floor clinician. So there are two major ways right now to become a pelvic floor therapist in the United States. First of all, of course, take your boards, get your license, and then you have to do some further education. Some programs, depending on which university you go to, may have a component of women's health or pelvic health integrated into their curriculum. Some master's programs will have that, and some OTD programs, the doctorate in OTs, have that now, but they are honestly few and far in between. And to be completely fair and honest, the same goes for physical therapy programs. Not a lot of physical therapy programs have this integrated into their curriculums. They do have a little bit more than the average OT program, but even most PTs need to do continuing education to work in this treatment area because honestly it is not an entry-level skill, it is an advanced practice skill. So you need to have a good bearing on your skills on treatment as an occupational therapist, and then you go take further training to become specialized in pelvic floor therapy. So how can you do that? Number one, and the most popular way to become a pelvic floor therapist in the United States is to train with Herman and Wallace Pelvic Rehabilitation Institute. Now, this is not a certification. There is a certification, the PRPC, but that is a certification that you can obtain by taking a certifying exam after several hours of practice. So most clinicians in pelvic floor therapy don't have this credential yet. Some work up to it, like me. That's one of my goals. Eventually, I will rack up the hours needed and take the the certification exam and get those extra words or extra letters behind my name. But to be a pelvic floor therapist, you can take some general pelvic floor treatment courses through Herman and Wallace and start treating again based on your past experience, based on how confident you feel in your hands-on skills. Option number two is actually very new and very exciting because it's by two occupational therapists that I can call colleagues and collaborators. There is an online course by Lindsay Westall from the Functional Pelvis. The course is called OT Pioneers. The great thing about the course is that it's all online, it is self-paced in a way, and she does offer coaching through video to answer questions and how to get started. She also gives you some advice on how to set up a business structure, how to get organized as a pelvic floor clinician, because getting the actual knowledge of treating dysfunction is one thing, but actually setting things up to get that out in the real world is something else. So Lindsay's course is great for that in that it can be accessed from anywhere. It's all online. There is a self-paced component. And when you take Lindsay's course with Laura Rowan's course, Laura Rowan is another occupational therapist, based in New York. She owns Essential Pelvic Health, and she teaches an AOTA approved course on manual skills for pelvic floor therapy. So when you take Lindsay's course and Laura's AOTA approved manual skills course together, that is considered to be equivalent to the Herman and Wallace entry level pelvic floor 1 training that is accessible to all of us, to OTs and PTs. So I hope that answers your question. As of now, in the United States, these are the two major options. There are some online courses out there. There's something through occupationaltherapy.com, but honestly, if you're just taking an online training, you probably don't have the necessary skills to treat someone's pelvic floor, because you have never actually touched a pelvic floor, you have never done treatment on one. And I do this because my index finger goes into a lot of people's pelvic floors, and for a great cause. So it helps them out. It tells me where the dysfunction is. I can massage trigger points. I can do lots of things with this finger. That's why I go like that in my video. So anyhow, if you do an online course, you don't get to use this finger very much. So I strongly recommend either taking Herman and Wallace's course, where you learn those manual skills, or taking the course combination offered by Lindsay Westall and Laura Rowan, where you are doing coursework created by OTs, targeted towards OTs, and a part of that is AOTA approved. I will answer a question about pelvic floor training in India, because that's another question I get a lot. To the best of my knowledge, there currently is no training provided to therapists in India. There is no certification. I do know of certain therapists who have self-trained. You would have to reach out to them specifically and find out the means they use for their training. That being said, therapists based in India are very welcome to take the online courses that are being offered by a lot of institutes, by both Herman and Wallace and the others I mentioned. They're very welcome to take those and further their skills in that way, because we really need this treatment in India as well. So if you have questions, feel free to reach me. I have recently started doing these coffee chats with OTs. I have gotten interest from a lot of budding OTs on like, hey, I'm so interested in doing pelvic floor therapy. Can you chat with me and tell me how you got started? And I'm like, hey, why not? Buy me a coffee, Venmo me $15, and we can set some time aside and I'll give you one-on-one advice on how to get started based on your specific background, what courses may be best for you to take. So if you need that kind of info, we can set something up. Find me at pelvicfloorbuffalo.com. There's a contact page. You can find me there, or find me on Instagram at concierge pelvic floor. So I hope this was helpful, and I'm so excited you're here. If you are a person who suffers from, I shouldn't say suffer, that's a bad negative word, I hate it. If you're a person who experiences pelvic floor dysfunction, I hope you are excited that so many more clinicians are entering this wonderful field to create more awareness and bring healing to people with pelvic floor issues. And if you're an OT, I'm so glad you are here. This is a wonderful field to work in. Continue studying. Come join us in this wonderful world of pelvic floor rehabilitation. So this is me signing off. I hope you're well. I hope you had happy, and I hope you have a wonderful, healthy pelvis. Bye bye.